Sexual reproduction in flowering plants for NEET 2026 MCQ 1. Question number 1. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and the other is labeled as reason. Assertion. Both the wind and water pollinated flowers are not very colorful and they do not produce nectar. Reason. The flowers produce enormous amount of pollen grains in wind and water pollinated flowers. Now, which of the following options will you choose? Both assertion and reason are true and R is a correct explanation of A. Second option is both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of A. Third option, assertion is true, but reason is false. Fourth option, assertion is false, but reason is true. Now here the answer is, both wind and water pollinated flowers are not very colorful and they do not produce nectar. That is true. So assertion is true. Now let's see the reason. The flowers produce enormous amount of pollen grains in wind and water pollinated flowers. That is also true, but it's not the correct explanation for the assertion. So that's why the answer will be option 2. That is, both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. In the seeds of cereals, the outer covering of endosperm separates the embryo by a protein-rich layer called dash. Option 1, coleoptile. Option 2, coleorhiza. Option 3, integument. Option 4, alluron. Allular layer is proteinaceous. So, which means that alluron is the correct answer. List 1 with list 2. List 1, A, scutellum. In the list 2, which one should we choose? Scutellum is the cotyledon of monocot seed. So this is A. B, non-albuminous seed, which means they don't have endosperm when they mature. Then that will be groundnut. So here this is B option. The next is epiblast. Epiblast is a rudimentary cotyledon. If you don't know this, just leave it. You can proceed towards the next. Next is perisperm. Perisperm is persistent nucellus, even when the seed matures. So these should be the answer. Option A, 2, should be 3. Option C should be, and option D should be 1. This one option, which it is? A2, B3, C4 and D1. That is option 1. Question number 4. Given below are two statements. One is assertion and the other is reason. Assertion says a typical unfertilized angiosperm embryo sac at maturity is 8 nucleate and 7 celled. Reason, the egg apparatus has 2 polar nuclei. Here the assertion is true, but egg apparatus doesn't have 2 polar nuclei. What is having 2 polar nuclei is central cell. So reason is false, assertion is true. Which option satisfies that? Assertion is true, but reason is false. The answer is option 3. Question number 5, assertion. Cells of the tapetum possess dense cytoplasm and generally have more than one nucleus. That is true actually. Reason are, presence of more than one nucleus in the tapetum increases the efficiency of nourishing the developing microspore mother cells. That is also true. So which means that the option 1, that is both assertion and reason are true and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. This is the correct answer. Children, don't forget to subscribe, please.